Bedside Shift Report, a quality improvement project by Sheena Deering. The purpose of this quality improvement project is to improve communication between nurse-to-nurse communication along with nurse-to-patient communication through Bedside Shift Report. Also to decrease falls at the change of shift, call bell use at change of shift, promote teamwork and collaboration, and promote patient safety and satisfaction. According to Boschart, Knowlton, and Wicello, to improve the patient experience, we must change the way nurses practice and communicate with each other and their patients. Prior to implementing Bedside Shift Report on my current unit, which consists of a 34-bed cardiac floor, I had met with my manager to come up with ideas of a quality improvement project. The idea of bedside reporting came up since in the past it has failed multiple times on our unit. Since then, we have seen a decreasing patient satisfaction score at a rate of 30%, along with increased patient care errors over the past 3 months at a rate of 20%. To start my initiative, I first came up with a team that would effectively collaborate together to make bedside reporting successful. The team included myself, the unit manager, the director of nursing, in which has had success in bedside report at her previous place of employment, one experienced nurse, and 2 newer nurses with less than 2 years' experience in the clinical field. We would meet weekly to review feedback and make any necessary changes to follow PDSA cycles in the oncoming weeks. The method and process utilized was that oncoming staff, along with outgoing staff, would report to each other at the patient's bedside, giving the patient a chance to be involved in care, decisions, and continue to be updated on their current health situations. According to McMurray, Treboyer, Wallace, Johnson, and Gerke, data shows bedside handover provides an opportunity for patients to be involved as active participants in their care, and when patients are given an opportunity to gain a greater understanding of their plan of care, they will be better equipped for input into collaborative decisions aimed at ensuring that their care is both appropriate and safe. Also, according to Laws and Amato, communication failures during shift reports are a leading cause of sentinel events in the United States. Providing adequate information through bedside shift report during change of shift reporting is essential to promoting patient safety. Further researching bedside report and implementing bedside reporting within the unit, the article written by Baker states, bedside shift report is also an excellent way to build employee teamwork, ownership, and accountability. Bedside shift report also decreases the potential for near misses through a transfer of responsibility and trust, and by using standardized communication. Completing bedside report also gives the oncoming nurse the opportunity to lay eyes on all the patients prior to starting their rounds. So how was bedside shift report re-implemented on our unit? After building a team, education was then presented to all staff within the nursing unit regarding implementation of bedside shift report, along with surveys emailed to every nurse to obtain their feedback on concerns starting bedside shift report on the unit. After reviewing return emailed surveys, 3 plan, do, study, and act, or PDSA cycles, were initiated in 2-week increments. Again, after each PDSA cycle, our team would come together, review staff compliance, staff and patient feedback, and make any changes for the following PDSA cycle. Prior to the first PDSA cycle being started, we ran into a 50% of staff noncompliance due to identified barriers that included staff resistance to change, HIPAA concerns that patients that were in semi-private rooms, that the roommate would be able to hear private health information being given, and when the unit was short-staffed, the patient assignments were too heavy or too large. With the first PDSA cycle, staff were expected to give report on patients at the bedside while answering any questions the patients may have and check any IVs, IV bags, incisions, cardiac monitoring, or cardiac events to hold the previous shift accountable. After the completion of the cycle, the team obtained more feedback from staff and patients. The concern of HIPAA again came about, and prior to the initiation of the second PDSA cycle, changes were made by the team. Starting with the second PDSA cycle, staff started giving report outside the room quietly and then went into the patient's room to introduce themselves for the oncoming shift and answer any questions the patient had regarding care or the plan for the day. Again, at the end of the second PDSA cycle, feedback was obtained from both staff and patients, and it is here we saw a start to an increase of patient satisfaction and staff compliance. We also had another barrier, though, in this cycle, which included patients not wanting to participate in bedside shift report, stating they did not want to be woken up in the morning or they did not want to be interrupted while visiting with family and friends. In order to change this barrier, at the start of the third cycle, the team came up with the patients that were deciding to opt out of bedside shift report. Staff would then write on the patient's whiteboard located inside the room that the patient does not want to participate, and instead of skipping over the patient completely without seeing the patient, staff would continue to report outside the room and only peek in on the patient without actually waking or talking to the patient. Facilitators to our PDSA cycles were to continue with positive attitudes, have manager and team member support through shift changes, and also to have team member and staff member meetings after every cycle to keep all staff up to date on changes, feedback, and expectations. By the end of our third PDSA cycle, and all changes within the initiative obtained from staff feedback and patient feedback, we had 90% compliance from all staff members, which led to an increase in patient satisfaction from 30% to 75%, due to the fact patients felt they were kept informed of their health care and also kept up to date on daily healthcare plans. And the nursing unit as a whole saw decreased patient care and medication errors by 10%, along with increased teamwork, collaboration, and accountability.